welcome to our Wolfpack edition of If We Were Creative. I'm Big Ben, Adam, Charlie, the Total Ninja here to join me as usual. Gentlemen, how you doing?
I'm good. Great.
'Tis the season to be jolly. WrestleMania season is on its full swing. And of course, we had Revolution we're coming off of, Adam coming off of Big Business, and we get to enjoy all that is in this wonderful world of wrestling. So going right to Big Business right away. Adam, you got to be there. Tell us, brother, what was it like?
You give me 1 second. I'm going to reset the camera here. Stand by. Camera decided to go all sorts of blocky on me. There we go.
You ain't got no head.
That's
There we go. Big Business was popping. So get this. If I were to tell you guys, and this asks you the question, what do you think was the more attended show? Big Business or AEW Blood and Guts last year? What would you say?
Probably Big Business because it's just growing in popularity.
I'm going to go with Blood and Guts.
Big Business was more attended than Blood and Guts.
Okay.
And how I could tell this, I went with my friend last year to Blood and Guts at the Garden, and it was an amazing show. But the Garden can hold about 16,000 people.
Yeah.
The upper decks, the balcony, there was more balcony opened for Big Business than there was for Blood and Guts. And the lower bowl or the low seating was packed. And everyone learned their lesson from last time. Stayed for Rampage this time because Rampage gets taped right after Dynamite.
Right.
And it kind of like, not like broke my heart a bit, but it was kind of disappointing to see after Blood and Guts and Dynamite was over. Granted, it was a more intense show. People started leaving and they had to start filling in camera side. It just kind of stunk. But
yeah,
it was an amazing show from top to bottom. Getting to see Joe and Wardlow and Okada, and just it kind of took me by surprise that the women were the main event. I'm like, with everything else you have on this card, with all due respect to Willow and Rio, why the heck is that the main event? It just didn't make logical sense to me. Throughout the entire time I'm sitting there on the show, I'm like, okay, the world title match was boring. Sorry, seen it before.
Very good.
It was boring. Boring and just, yeah. I didn't quite understand why some of these other matches didn't headline, but I get why having Mercedes come in at the end, send the crowd off, but her new theme song is popping. It is outstanding. And the crowd very quickly heard the cues on the song, and to Boston's credit, started playing along with it. And everyone was so happy to have her back. Again, that is her hometown. Like, if you live in this area and you've gone to any kind of independent wrestling show, you probably saw her early work just because of how beloved she was around here. So Big Business was outstanding. It was great to see her live. I had no idea what that music was to start, and then I actually listened to it back and people were like, she stole Gunther's theme song. I'm like, what the heck do you mean? The in-stadium audio of that song, you couldn't hear that like prior Gunther music when he came to WWE. You couldn't really hear it that well. And again, the place was really, really loud. So it was really different. But I'm so happy to see her there. She cut a great promo. The crowd loved it. The world title match was boring. It was slow, and it got Wardlow out of the picture to book us to Swerve. And there's something else I want to ask you both later. But overall, I thought the show was a massive success.
Okay. So my Boston joke has to come in first, right?
Okay.
How do you get a Boston crowd to pick up on what you're trying to tell them? Keep it to 3 syllables and possibly 3 letters. CEO. Even they can figure that out. But,
says the Packers, says the Packers fan wearing a Capitals hat.
What do the price of bread? Different sports.
I'm just thinking different parts of the country. That's all I'm saying.
So, those of you who do watch other content we put out here on Death with Bacon to know I am a sports fan. My wife is from Maryland, so I have my Ravens gear, my Capitals gear, my Orioles gear as well. So that is how the Capitals came along, and somehow in this ridiculously terrible season for the Capitals, they're still only a point out of the playoff spot right now. So the sport
and the Caps still have one of the greatest hockey players of all time.
Still going to laugh at the Bruins' historic collapse last year. It was glorious, and we will we'll let them Robert Roode themselves out again all they want. Ha 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 ha. The Bears still score.
It don't matter. The Stanley Cup's going to a team in Florida this year, anyhow.
Really?
So
anyway,
that went down a really weird rabbit hole.
That escalated quickly, but anyway.
Okay, so Okada.
Mm-hmm.
Okada. Now, we heard you last week talking about how you were frustrated you didn't get to enjoy his debut, but you still have Okada here. And what happens last night? He gets strapped right away, taking off nobody else other than Eddie. So, they said he wanted to be that heel right away. That's a great way to be that heel. Take the belt off of Eddie. Did you guys have a chance to watch the match? And if so, what did you guys think? You know, what's your impressions coming out of that?
I didn't watch the match. I saw the outcome. They're trying to push Okada as a heel. I'm sorry. He's too over. He's just at that megastar level of he needs to do something super heelish to get a bad reaction. He's getting too many cheers. The Elite came out in Boston, booed. Okada comes out, we're all cheering. So you can hear some of the boos, but we're all cheering. You have to do something for a guy at that level to get heel heat, and it's just not working. I'm happy he's got gold. By the way, he's been in AEW for 3 weeks.
So let me throw this out to what if Danhausen comes back and Okada throws him on the shelf again? Like just give, if we were creative, Danhausen comes out very good, very evil, and Okada comes out and just destroys him again, and no more Danhausen for a few weeks. That would look. I don't care who you are. Danhausen's hilarious. That is good comedic breaks in wrestling.
Sure, why not? It's the same reason I just don't get Eddie Kingston. I've tried to get behind him. I've tried. Eddie just he cuts good promos, but he doesn't do it for me as a wrestler.
It's funny seeing him be emotional, though.
So Danhausen's problem, I think, now is same as Riho's. No one's believing that person's winning a fight anywhere ever, right? Like Danhausen looks like the emo kid in your middle school showed up to a wrestling match saying, "Hey guys, I want to fight," but cuts a good promo. I get it. I still enjoy it. It's still, I'll suspend disbelief. I'll still have fun. But speaking of the Riho, Will Nightingale, now we get.
We haven't let more Charlie talk yet. Charlie, Okada.
It's all good because I didn't watch the match either. Or know the result and everything and all. Here's my thing. My only real take on all this is that, to Adam's point, he's only been there for 3 weeks and they already put a belt on him. No, dude, make him work for it a little bit.
It's Okada.
I get it, and you want him to have that pop, but I mean, if you want him to be a heel, man, you've got to don't just give it to him, man. You got to make him go out there and just start terrorizing some people and building that negative energy, make it work for him for at least a month or two, and then put the belt on him. Give me some build up.
Hear me out. Does Tony Khan and the Elite know something that we don't? Is Omega ready to come back? Because if you've watched any of Okada's work, he'll capitalize off of a heel movement. He had the chance in that match last night to low blow Kingston. Didn't do it. He went for a standard eye poke, a double eye poke, even though an eye poke is standing. He went for a double eye poke. Ref caught it. There was no legal low blows. There was nothing else. No one hit anybody with a belt. There was no pure heel tactics. It was old school, I'm going to thumb someone in the eye. He's tweening between face and heel. Is Omega possibly coming back? And then we're going to go right into Omega Okada for the Continental Championship. If so, sign me the bleep up. That would be amazing. Sign me up.
Look, to that point, though, I think that you can still have Okada as the heel in that situation.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he's tweening. He's very much riding the face heel line.
So look,
Troy over here. Yes, not a single poke, a double eye poke.
All right. Before I go too far down this spot, I got to go into this. Okada is going to do what they're going to do. We see with a lot of talent in AEW, they come out, they get the pop. It's, oh, hey, he's here. Yay, yay. Okay, now what? I think this is where if you go that heel direction right away, which they're trying to do, he's going to get cheered regardless. That's fine. That's fine. Let him do his cheers. He's going to have that heel moment. To your point, 3 weeks. Give him some time. It's going to come up. And it's going to be that moment where it's going to be bigger. Cost Swerve another match. I don't know. Have him go start messing with people's favorites, and that's going to get that pop you're looking for. But another match last night took place that looked like it kind of belonged more on WrestleMania X7 than Dynamite. Adam Copeland and Christian.
Wow. What a match.
So I saw the post today too. You got to love the moment with Copeland in his Leafs jersey, Christian in his Bruins jersey there, the hockey fight. It's just great.
If those guys were planted, by the way, great plans. If that was not planned, well done.
Right. I mean, so much in this just made for amazing moments. I mean, a classic Dynamite match. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Thoughts?
They didn't have to go too bloody to make that match for what it is. I did find it very weird. It was like a 70-30, 75-25, even an 80-20 split in Copeland's favor in terms of getting stuff in. I was very surprised Christian didn't get more in, which is my only knock on the match as a whole. Even though we all knew going into this match he was going to lose the belt. You couldn't have got in a little bit more offense? It just seemed a little off place to me.
I want to know though, if you're Christian, I'm blanking names now. Luchasaurus is now whatever they want to call him. Kill Switch. Kill Switch engages himself in that match again. That changed the tide, right? But he didn't. So I don't know. I'm looking at this and saying I'm waiting for that follow. Let me see Christian call up Kill Switch and have the Kill Switch turn.
Yep, which we've been waiting for that for months, by the way.
Absolutely. But I'm here for it. I'm waiting for it. Now, Troy did ask another question I want to put up here, and I'm going to go to Charlie here first. What are your guys' opinions on the non-PG promos that The Rock is cutting on social media? Do you think the move to Netflix will move them out of the PG era?
So one thing, like some of these promos could be half the time that they are. That's one thing I'm going to say is, especially The Rock is really like drawing stuff out. He's like really like going around his elbow to get to his ass on a lot of this stuff. and it doesn't need to happen. So that's one thing. I wonder about this myself with them going to Netflix. If they're going to, because they're going to be allowed to probably do a bit more. So if we may see, a little bit more of like what we had, especially in like the early 2000s and stuff like that and all, then, get like a little bit more I don't want to say risque, but maybe PG-13. You know what I mean?
PG-13 is exactly kind of where I thought you were going with that.
Yeah. Um, so I kind of think that to answer Troy's question, I do think that as they move to Netflix, that we'll see them up it a little bit, at least as far as these promos, man. Like, I love The Rock. I love The Rock outside of wrestling as well. All his movies and stuff, everything he does, the Young Rock, all of it. It just cracks me up. That's an entertaining dude, and I loved the Rock concert the other night. As far as the lyrics go and stuff, I love it. He's a great trash talker. But we could have sped the tempo up a little bit. I know you're trying to be bluesy and all, but we don't need 20 minutes of promos for this. We've gotten promos every WWE like event. Seriously, Raw, SmackDown, everything. And so they can make their point, I think, a little bit with a little less. Sometimes less is more on this. Cody's promos too. Like now we're going down this rabbit hill with Cody's mom and all this. And, we're getting emotional in the ring and crying and stuff. I'm like, dude, like, let's tighten it up just a little bit. Let's tighten it up a little bit because they're out here and they need to kind of get into here a little bit with this. But that being said, they're fun. They're fun. I like it, and I like the transition that we're seeing as it moves closer to the Netflix era.
Okay, Adam.
I think it'll end up being more of a PG-13 type deal. We already saw what they let Cody get away with. We've seen what they let The Rock get away with. So I think that maybe testing the waters, maybe we'll take the slap on the wrist from USA and Fox if using that kind of language, because they know that everything is moving to Netflix. Both Raw and SmackDown are going to be Netflix exclusives, right? Or does Fox still have?
No, I think it's just Raw, isn't it? That's going to Netflix
It is just Raw. Okay.
It's different here and internationally though, because everything is going to transition over to Netflix internationally next year.
I still don't understand the
here
move
in
to
America
Netflix.
though. It's just Raw, I think.
Yeah, I don't understand the move to Netflix as a whole. I hope they got a good opt-out clause in there if anything happens to Netflix, if Netflix goes under, because I thought Netflix was having possible financial issues. So I just hope that they know what they're doing. $5 billion is a lot to invest in wrestling. Don't get me wrong. If it brings more subs and everything, fine. Just kind of interesting.
That what Troy was just asking, the pay-per-views and stuff, Peacock has 1 year after this. Peacock has one more year left on their contract for the WWE network and all of that stuff. So all of that stuff next year is going to stay on Peacock, and hopefully it'll stay there because Peacock's a great app. I love that, especially if you have kids. It's an awesome app. I don't want to get Netflix again. It's trash. But yeah.
Bleacher Report is better than Bleacher Report. So
yeah, I haven't been impressed with that. I'm gonna watch some of the madness on it though, because we're getting the free Bleacher Report on HBO right now. So I'll judge.
That's a whole nother AEW pay-per-view discussion just on where that's going. I also why I don't understand why they didn't keep the WWE network to begin with. I don't get that whatsoever. That thing was out the money. They have $5 billion in Netflix contract. Bring it back.
Yo, Peacock paid.
Look, what I missed the most there, sorry to cut you off. What I missed the most was on the network, you had the tag for the matches started and ended, so you could fast forward the match you wanted to watch.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what I missed the most, because I want to show my son certain matches, not the whole 2-hour event from '96. Like, let me go in and say, hey, this is a match I watched that was just amazing, son. Watch this match.
Yeah.
And now I got to kind of putz through it all.
Is there a debut? Did someone come out with the Rumble you really want to watch again?
Absolutely.
You want to hear reaction? Having those spots, it was wonderful to go to. Whether it's just like you wanted to hear, like, imagine how many times Cody's entrance at Mania 38 would have came into play again. Rather than having to scroll and find it and go back and find the right timestamp. It just I wish they'd have that functionality back.
Yeah.
I'll address what Troy said about the Rock's promos. I appreciate him using social media. I don't need 20 minutes of promos on TikTok.
Well,
and not for nothing, I'm going to say a hot take, and I'm glad you both are sitting down for this. Let me get my mic in over here. Right, ready? I think The Rock is having trouble with his promos.
what?
Have you listened to some of these promos on SmackDown? He is saying some of the same shit over and over and saying the same thing different ways. I'm sorry. And I don't like using the word cringe. That's a little cringe. I expect more out of a man with his charisma. And I don't know if it's he doesn't want to say things or he's trying to ad-lib, but he used to ad-lib and cut promos, never needed anything. Is it just me or has anyone else picked up on that?
Oh, absolutely. No,
and look, don't
100%.
get me wrong. I love what he's doing. And Cody's promo, I thought, was one of the best promos he's ever cut this past Monday night on Raw. The same thing that they when the Acclaim cut their promo, I think, on Rampage. Whenever the heck they were on Diamond or Rampage, the best promo that team's ever cut. But you give Cody a live mic like that to have something little dick syndrome to come out? That thing was trending on Twitter. I'm like, they let him say what now? And the Rock concerts, I never really liked or understood. They were just too long. Funny, but too long. And I saw another Rock concert, and I'm like, I have no desire to listen to this full thing.
Look, I'm going to piggyback off this a little bit. I love using social media for your promos. Number one, you can get a lot more out there as long as you want, and go 30 minutes. I don't care.
Yeah.
As long as the television programming clips what I need to hear. Clip your one-liners, clip what trends, clip the main point, and give that to me in the show, and let me watch wrestling when I turn on Raw, when I turn on SmackDown, when I turn on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Let me watch wrestling. I don't want to watch promos when I'm watching a wrestling show. If I want to watch promos, I'm a big boy. I can go find it on their Twitter, their X, their Instagram, their whatever. Whatever. That's great. I'm more for that. It'll let me and my interests follow them. So maybe they can actually monetize my watching their content versus WWE taking all that all the time. Or I'm for it. Let the creative individual make money off themselves and the work they're doing. And if that means using social media, look at it before, Vince shut down Zack Ryder, who kind of started the whole social media superstar.
He was a pioneer.
Like, that's how you do it. We talked about Danhausen earlier in the show. That's literally how Danhausen has become what he has become. He went from an indie whatever to everyone knows Danhausen. You can hate him all you want, but you know who he is. So,
yeah.
End of the day for me, give me more YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, whatever promos, and clip what's necessary because that's a blast. Now, going back to other parts of these promos, I loved The Rock is a cat kerchief on Pharaoh. Gold. That was hilarious. If you haven't seen the picture, look it up. I mean, that's the fun PG era kind of thing you can get, but with Pharaoh wearing it, that much funnier to me. I loved it. So, anyway, gentlemen, transitioning here a little bit, I asked you guys to prepare some lists for us this week. It's time for lists. So, for those of you watching, what we're going to go through here is current superstars. We'll start with the males. We'll go to the females second because that's the main event. But for the males, who are your top 5 right now? Context of the question has been, who gets your attention? Who are you most into right now? We can discuss after that, he has want into who is the best wrestler, who is the most over. But I'm asking, who are you the most into right now? Top 5 men. Adam, lead us off.
Good. We can start off with the proper list. I'm just saying.
An asshole. Oh,
It's all good. I'm just saying.
He's got jokes. It's cool.
These are the top 5 best wrestlers on the planet right now. You can argue 5. I'm just saying. I'm going to say this like it is. Ospreay 1, Omega 2, Danielson 3, Okada 4, Seth Rollins 5. And the only reason I put Seth Rollins at 5 is because that man deserves a lot of freaking credit for everything he's done with the World Heavyweight Championship, making that thing feel like it isn't a freaking secondary title. You give that man all the credit and flowers he deserves for elevating that damn title. Sorry, way more than Rhea Ripley has her title.
okay. Charlie, what are your top 5?
All right. In no particular order, sort of.
Don't you give us this no particular. We asked 1 to 5, Charlie.
No, all right. Look, at the top of my list is KO for a multitude of reasons. He is one of my favorites, but he is one of the best wrestlers out there. He seriously is. A man that size and that shape, how many other dudes like that have we seen do some of the stuff that he is willing to do? He is like the better version of Cactus Jack. I'm telling you, man.
And
I love
keep
it.
wrestling. He's always available.
And he's good. You don't see KO make a lot of mistakes. There are some wrestlers out there on TV routinely you see miss hits and marks and stuff. Like seriously. And yet they still, I don't know, man. But he doesn't. He is good. He's entertaining. I love it. This one, a lot of this is on skill set alone, but I've always been a fan, is actually Kofi Kingston.
Okay.
I'm looking for more from the storyline. Their storyline has gotten a little off track. You know, it's lost a little bit of its flavor, I guess, really. But God, he is an amazing wrestler. The dude is awesome. And his aerials and stuff, God, he makes it look good.
Another one.
Oh, so
rarely
excited.
Ever injured. You need him for something, he's there. When I think Mr. Reliable now in WWE.
Yeah. Well, we didn't even touch on the
Don't
awesome
steal
truth.
my thunder
coming
here.
back.
Come on now. It's coming.
Woo!
It's coming.
Excited for the awesome truth. Oh man. Number 3, Adam. I when I saw your list, you sent it out. I was like, oh, we're gonna have somebody on the same person on a list, which I did not think was gonna happen. But I've got Danielson as my number 3. He is an incredible wrestler. He is fun. It doesn't matter if he's a good guy or a bad guy. It doesn't matter what he's going through. He is just. I'm cool. I'm pulling for him.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what side of the table he is sitting at. I pull for him. He's an incredible wrestler. Again, he'll do some stuff. I love the guys that are really, really willing to, sacrifice their body for the good of the game. That's my kind of guy. That's why I love KO so much. It was hard to fill it was hard to cut this down to 5. Because really, if I look at this, I have like the top 7. But so I'm gonna put. I got Randy Orton. Okay. Randy Orton is always awesome. Randy, you never know. I love his character because you never know with Randy at the end of any match which way he is going to turn. That I love it. He's always so suspect, always so entertaining. He's got, to me, one of the best, funnest freaking finishing moves. I mean, seriously, who doesn't love that? So, and the fact that he's with KO right now helps too. That might have been the him getting over my next guy here, who is Jon Moxley.
Yep.
Again,
I said,
him and Danielson, man. He's awesome. I love his personality on and off of his character, and when he's out of character, he's a cool dude to me. He's good at it. He's always getting into some really good, intense matches, which I really love. It's entertaining. I really, really did want to put Sammy there, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to choose between those last two, him or Sammy.
Well, and I recognize the tag of Adam's piece. I'm going to repeat myself and say, "Masshole." This is Fitz was correct.
Sorry.
But, I'm going to break in here with this. Look, for me, Seth Rollins, for what he's done, tops my list, if I'm being honest. Seth Rollins carried WWE for times they had no one else to carry them.
Yes.
He's there.
He did. Absolutely.
He made everything he touches relevant. He's technically sound, and he's always entertaining. The different versions right now, this whole and it's been small tweaks. He didn't have to completely rebuild himself. These small tweaks into this ridiculous character he is now is just fun. It's good. It's fun. You still take him serious. When you see him wrestle, you still believe it. And I'll use the Brock Lesnar WrestleMania match as an example of this. The guy is believable no matter who he's wrestling, and he's still going to make everyone look better for being in the ring with him. He's taken his L's to help other people get over, and he's also had those big moments where he's just rocked it. My first personal favorite moment I saw in person was WrestleMania in New Orleans 34, when he had his belt around the head moment. Winning that seat, that was just a blast, man. It was good, fun, entertaining. So I go Seth Rollins for me, number one. Now, this is where Adam, I'm going to agree with you a little bit for a brief time. I love Will Ospreay. Ospreay is easily one of the most entertaining guys in the world to me right now. I can watch him all day. Go put him on, I'll watch him.
Yep.
It is good stuff. He's won my respect. I was able to see him in person. The guy is just phenomenal. Again, you'll notice a theme here, but I'm going to go Darby Allin here next.
Oh.
So,
okay.
This goes back to my context of the question. If Darby's on, I still want to watch.
Yes.
If Darby's doing something, I'm into it. It's not necessarily about him being the best that there's out there. And this is where Darby, despite his size, makes me believe because of what he will do.
Yep.
Unlike what I'll say with Danhausen or with Riho, there's nothing Darby won't do, put his body through, literally, to create a moment in the match and make you believe he can win the match. Yep. So that's where I appreciate Darby Allin so much for what he brings to the ring, how he handles it, and understanding we only have him for this brief moment. Some guys you look at and you're going to have him for 30 years. We don't have Darby for that long. That's evident. We know that. He knows that. But I'm going to enjoy it while I've got it.
Not with the way the style he wrestles.
Well, there's no way. I mean, you go back into that. In football, we talk about mobile quarterbacks don't last as long because they just really tear themselves up. Same thing here with a guy like Darby, especially with his size and the way he wrestles. We only have a window with him.
And that's not us being rude. That's just you watch his match. That's his style of match. Moxley did that style of match, went to WWE, recovered a bit, and now is back to doing that crazy high intensity style match. You're right. Some wrestlers you don't know. I appreciate the Darby call. Was not expecting that one.
Yeah, so it's just one that I have to call him in. I was being one of those. I'm here for it. The next one is AJ Styles for me. So AJ technically is always good. Mm-hmm. He's always entertaining to me, whether he's a heel or babyface. When I first saw him, I didn't like him. I mean, this was going back to 2016. But that was also me marking out a little bit and just hating the heel. But the more I've watched the man, the more I've appreciated the man. The levels he's put himself through, again, the way he looks right now, holy smokes, that dude is jacked right now, by the way. But AJ is one in a million, and we are lucky to have him in this era.
Yes.
He won't have a bad match. The guy is just gold. My number 5 is The Miz. So
nice.
There you go.
Again, The Miz.
That's awesome.
So the Miz to me made me care about the IC title again. I'm not saying he's the best wrestler, but he is one of the best entertainers. He makes me want to watch. He
He's
makes
Mr.
things fun.
reliable.
When he wants to be a heel, he can make me hate him. When he wants to be a face, I'm going to love him. And it's still fun, no matter what he does. So it's a guy who's not afraid to make fun of himself. My favorite, again, calling it my own, if you guys know this too, I like personal moments. My favorite personal moment with The Miz was here in Green Bay where Tiny Balls started. So we can enjoy the moments that we've been given from The Miz and his Tiny Balls. Or depending on how you want to look at that. So, but no, like I said, it's one of those things that you've got to enjoy what you're given, and he has given us a lot. So that's where I go at with these guys. Recognize they may not necessarily be the best wrestlers in the world. They're my favorite to watch wrestlers in the world right now.
Which is why I think this is 2 questions.
Right.
The best 5 wrestlers in the world. My list is correct. 1 to 4. 5 you can debate. Your favorite personal. Look, your favorite personal could be anything. I've always been a fan of The Miz. He would be probably in my personal top 10. So just think about this for a second. When we think John Cena,
right,
Mr. Reliable, company could ask him to do whatever, wrestle, go appear on the Tonight Show, go appear on Good Morning America. He'll go appear on Good Morning America. He'll do it. The Miz is just John Cena without the 16 world titles. He is Mr. Reliable. He could be on Raw one night, send off to do promo work in India another night, off to Japan to do promo work, or like promoting the company and just doing whatever. He could be wherever the company wants to send him. Tonight Show, Good Morning America, wherever. He's there. And he's earned that. He gets the time off with his family he gets to go do. I'm sure he's probably not doing every house show anymore. Right? Like, I have no idea, but like, you being able to become a reliable person for the company, I think in and of itself speaks volumes.
Right.
And by the way, if you haven't treated yourself to AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels versus Samoa Joe, TNA 2006, go watch the match.
Okay.
It's a triple threat match. There's a reason the 3 of them are best friends. That match is absolutely outstanding. It is nonstop action, start to finish. Go watch that triple threat. It's one of the best matches that TNA has ever put on. And those 3 are insane.
I will also never do that.
If you think about where professional wrestling came from, it's Rollins, it's Punk, it's Danielson, it's Joe, it's Styles. And probably a couple others in there. I mean, if you want to put in Tanahashi and Nakamura, what they all did overall for professional wrestling, to get us to this era, they were the trendsetters. Because no one was doing realistically. Joe, you can kind of leave in and out of there. He's just always been that man. But if you think the most for athletic, it's going to be Rollins, Punk, Danielson, and Styles. Those are the 4. Joe's been great inside and out. What Tanahashi did to save New Japan, Nakamura elevating afterwards, and then Okada coming. Like, you can talk about the era as a whole, how New Japan came into play with those big 3, how those 4 helped redefine the athletic style of professional wrestling that we're seeing today, that quite frankly, I think is good from a health standpoint. We don't want to see big guys that have to stay big just to make a paycheck. You can be fit and athletic and still do well. Look at what Gunther's gone through. I still can't believe I'm saying instead of Walter. He knew he wanted to eventually get fit, but when you have that kind of an image coming in like that, and there's an expectation for you as this big signing, you know, and you slowly get down to like Kevin Owens never wanted to lose the weight. I think he was kind of forced to by Vince. At least that was a rumor, I think. But he looks great, and he can still do whatever. Kevin Owens is one of the best wrestlers on the planet. Sami Zayn. You know, you have a lot of underrated wrestlers on the planet, too. Like, there are so many you can put into a top 5. This next top 5, I think, is where things get wide open.
Before we get there,
let me just say this about The Miz, because I love you having The Miz on your list. That's awesome. And I've loved that dude since the Real World.
Yeah.
Like, Seriously. And the fact that he is also a huge fantasy sports player as well.
Yes.
You know, he is in like one of the baseball teams, their like actual team fantasy league. And it's some like $25,000 league or something.
He
talks
might have
about
been in the what is it? The Fantasy Focus Football Podcast.
I think it's
He
some
might
of the
have been in Celeb
Cardinals.
League.
Yeah, he's been in a whole he's in the Celebrity Football League and stuff, dude. He is an awesome entertainer. Just seriously,
He's
he really
announced
is.
the Cleveland's Brown draft pick, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
that's what I thought.
Yeah. He needs what he has brought to the world is awesome. I went as far as I tried to watch the Ms. and Mrs.
It was an okay series. I didn't
I
really
didn't
watch
think-
much of it.
So, no, look, the Miz deserves all the flowers you can give the man. He's been so
Yes.
good, and that's why he's on my list. But there's one guy
Hall of Famer.
there's one guy that I really wanted to put in, but I didn't quite fit. I want to hear your reactions to this, but Finn Balor. And let me explain. Let me explain before I let you guys go on this one. The amount of training he's done to relevant wrestlers in the industry today, his Bullet Club impact, the overall body of work he's put into us, and what he's done to the wrestling universe, his contribution is worth noting. For as young as he is, again, for a guy his size, he sells it well. He does a good job making you believe. Finn was very close for me in touching that top five. Charlie, what's your first reaction? And Adam, I want you to tell me why I'm wrong and stupid.
So I thought about it with Finn, but like for the context of how I took the question, like he's just not doing it for me right now. I hate
Right.
where he's at in his story. I don't like where his character has gone.
100%.
I liked him way better like 5 years ago.
Yep.
Like for real, because he is an absolute incredible wrestler. He's very, very talented.
Absolutely.
And you know, I love the Demon and stuff too. It's just cool, and it just some of the stuff that he does. So like, I had thought about it, like on that fifth spot, man.
Yeah.
That's one of the guys. I will say that there was probably like three that in the end, I was like, I like these guys better right now.
Nope, that's fair.
But yeah, man, if you had to put it in your top five, I would not be mad at you at all, because on skill set alone, he's up there. He's definitely in the top 10 of wrestlers right now.
So, Adam, why am I crazy for thinking about
So
it?
I feel like I've been binge watching too much House. You idiot. Okay, I'll leave the House quotes aside now. But that is such a great show. Anyway, Finn is not there. And look, with all due respect, I don't know why my camera keeps tilting, but
I'm saying I'm on Vicodin right now. Speaking of House, so I watch your video, but we'll.
I'm not gonna go pop Vicodin. Please don't do that. That's so stupid. Anyway, look, if Finn doesn't get there, I WWE destroyed him. They destroyed him after that Universal title. That injury was not his fault. He came back. You should have put him right back in the freaking picture. And they never, ever did. They never considered him serious enough to hold the world title. And I think that is one of the biggest missed opportunities that company has had with him. To the point you have to go reinvent yourself as the prince. What does that even mean?
That's not really new, though.
Like, there was this entire buzz about him coming from Japan. He never did it for me. I was more of a fan of Kenta than I was Finn. Kevin Owens was the biggest of those big three when they came into NXT. And the way he's progressed.
But I mean, like,
it just goes to show what they thought of Finn. Yeah, he's the first ever Universal Champion for one day. He's never got his title back. Kevin Owens comes in, bitch slaps John Cena, lays him out night one, says, I don't want your stinking title. I have a world title. I don't need your puny little title. And then goes out and cleanly beats Cena at Elimination Chamber. Statement made. Star made.
Yep.
So
they
but
never
like,
did that with Finn, my opinion.
So okay, I'm gonna rebuttal a little bit here. D-Generation X, NWO, Bullet Club. In my opinion, the three most influential big factions we've had in the industry.
Yes.
That as far as merch sales, following,
Yes.
recognition,
Yep.
massive.
Yep.
And so Finn, by the way, as Prince, Prince Devitt, starts Bullet Club.
Right. Yes.
That
Yep.
has to be as part of my overall consideration.
Sure.
And why I like it. But the context of the question is why he's not in my list, by the way. My final qualification here, he is a mid guy in a group with Damian Priest. That is not doing it for me. To your
Nope.
point,
It's
it's
okay.
poor
He's a mid guy paired with another mid guy, paired with a somewhat good female wrestler, paired with a terrible undercard guy in Dom. It's okay. The entire faction's garbage. Moving on.
Speaking of garbage, the
Adam,
Patriots.
you're right,
Anyway, we're gonna keep going.
That's why
here.
I hate his character right now.
Speaking of no elite wide receiver, or lack thereof too. Anyway,
Browns at least catch the ball. So
you at least have guys that can catch the first
the
ball.
quarterback. But top 5 women. Top 5 women. I'm going to go ahead and start off because I want to piss Adam off some more. And my top 5 right now. Rhea Ripley is number 1, like it or not. So I don't care who you are, you're going to watch her match.
She's in my top 5.
You're going to listen to her. And she has the physique that she can do what she wants in the ring. She's not a tiny girl. She's got the build. She is believable. You can put her in the ring right now with Paul Levesque, and it would still be the phenomenal match. It would be believable. That's crazy. It's crazy, but it's true. My number 2 is Charlotte Flair. And so I hate that she's hurt, but Charlotte is, for me, the GOAT of women's wrestling.
Yes,
but she's number 2 for me right now behind Rhea, given the sum of the whole overall. My number 3 is finally back on television a little bit in Hikaru Shida. I love Shida. Like, to me, that woman carried AEW's women's division even more than Britt Baker.
Yep.
And Britt Baker's phenomenal.
Yes.
But Shida was always the one. Like, you hear Serena Deeb talk about being the professor of women's wrestling. Dude, Shida looks better in the ring every single time than you ever look. And you can't cut a promo, Serena, to save your life. So shut up. Go away. So it's, to me, number 3 goes to Shida. Number 4, this is where it starts getting really hard for me. Outside that top 3, you kind of get to looking around a little bit. And Bianca Belair actually takes a spot right now. Bianca, again, has that strength factor. She has the charisma. It's fun. I'm here for it. And my number 5 is Toni Storm. It's a lot to do with I still love timeless Toni Storm. It's a good character, but I liked her from NXT. I like her in WWE. I like her everywhere she's been. I've enjoyed what she's done. And no matter what she's going to do, I'm going to enjoy it. Toni she has the look, she has the moves, she has the character. So Toni to me is in top 5 right now for me personally. But Rhea, quick recap there. Rhea, Charlotte, and Shida are my top 3. So that's where we're going to go for now. Adam, tell me why I'm wrong.
And you said what? Sorry. You said what? Bianca 4. I'm trying to make sure I'm following the list. Bianca 4 and Storm was 5?
That's correct.
Okay. I have no problem with that. Again, because Charlotte's been injured off and on the last couple of years, I forgot about her. But when she's on screen,
that's fair.
She is the greatest women's wrestler, arguably, of all time. I would put her right up there with Moolah. I'd put her up there with Mae Young. I'd put her up there with all Trish Stratus. Like, she may have surpassed Trish Stratus, to be honest with you. She is an absolute legend, and she's not done. What she has been able to do with feuds with Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, with Bayley, with anyone you've put her against. She's not only made everyone, and Sasha's looked great in those feuds. I can make the same arguments for her. I can make the same arguments for Becky. She elevates the talent around her. With anyone she's in the ring with, she can try and bring the best out of that other player. I 100% agree with you. I'm going to have 2 lists. I'm taking my number 2. I'm revising it.
Okay. Let's go.
Because again, I forgot all about it because again, she's been injured off on the last couple of years through no fault of her own. It's just injuries suck.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I disagree on is Sheeta. If you're giving her the credit for being an always solid worker, I think the biggest plus to having her on that list is she carried AEW's women's division and quite frankly, helped carry the entire company through the pandemic era. And the
100%.
pandemic era being from when everything was shut down, March of 2020, through when stuff slowly started opening back up again to Mania in Tampa the following year. So 2020, March 2020 to really April 2021, March, April 2021, that kind of timeline. So we started getting back to the big crowds. No limitations on crowds other than masks, but not having limited people in seats. She helped carry the entire company.
She
not
owns
just
Daily
the women's division.
place. That is her place now. She owns Jacksonville.
Fair. It's fair. That was her house. Plain and simple. I like it. Charlie.
Yes.
How many women you got on your list? 10,000 that you couldn't fit in and you only fit 5? Or like what's
Dude,
going on?
this was tough. Are you kidding me, man? Like, I barely got 5.
Wow.
No, I'm like it was hard. I think that there is a small handful of really, really, really quality female wrestlers in the game right now. I don't know if we were going through like a list of the ages, it'd be real simple for me to make this list. But look, man, I'm cool if you having Rhea on your list there, but not at number 1. She's on my list too, but that to me is way high up. I don't know, because at the top of my list, and this woman and Charlotte together have may possibly done the best female matches ever. Is Becky Lynch. The man is still the man, and she's always going to be the man until somebody comes in and they're just better than her. And right now, not yet. That ain't happened. Nobody in anybody's stable, to me, I don't even think has the potential to be better than her. She's incredible.
Nobody besides Charlotte can lace her boots right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Bianca isn't even there yet.
Those two. God, it's a great match.
I'm sorry to interrupt. My only issue, I like the Irish last kicker better than the man. The man to me is played out. I've heard it's been there. It's boring to me now. Give me the last kicker. Give me your steampunk goggles. Give me something or do something new. I'm just done with this character.
That's why she's big time Bex. She's evolved past the man character. And I'm sorry, the Irish last kicker did not get her over.
I go back to the fire.
We'll debate that another week. We'll debate. I'm writing that down. The Irish last kicker will be debated for another week.
Good, because then we can talk about how she went from Irish last kicker heel turn into what became the man gimmick and changed the entire trajectory of her career, in my opinion. Anyway.
So number 2 on my list.
2.
All right. So, and again, in the context of the way I took this question, so like this is like right now, who I'm into, she's on, I'm going to watch, and it's freaking Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is number 2. I love Liv Morgan. Okay. We all do.
Fair. Yeah.
They ain't a red-blooded man watching this wrestling that doesn't love Liv Morgan. Okay. Like, she's awesome. She is a badass. I love it. She's got that nasty little attitude, but she's still kind of a good guy. You know what I mean? Like it's awesome. She's entertaining every time she's in the ring, no matter what's going on. And I feel kind of the same about this next one, even though she's not in it right now. She'll be back. The number 3 on my list, I actually I almost want to take her out because I didn't really think about Charlotte either because she's been out for a while, but she has too, is Alexa Bliss.
Yep, thank you.
I
love Alexa Bliss, and she can wrestle, man. She's good. She can hit them stunts. Dude,
She'd
she
be
is
my top
awesome.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
she-
top 5, but she'd be top 10.
Awesome. And dude, she was, yeah. I hate that we won't get like her and some of the characters that she's teamed up with in the past anymore, man. It's just
So
but-
Charlie's got a type. Got it. Okay. Anyway, keep going.
it's just those two. You know what? It's a Harley Quinn thing. I don't want to talk about it. It's a comic book thing. All right, so
It's a
I'm gonna
comic
take-
book thing, and his wife's in the other room.
But I am taking this next person off of my list in 4.
I'm kidding,
And that
Charlie.
was
I'm
Mariah
kidding.
May, and I'm putting Charlotte in there.
Wait, did you
Okay.
say Mariah
Dude,
May?
Yeah, that was
The woman has had all
originally-
of 2 matches.
she's
But
had
he's-
more than that.
is he
She's talking about
into
she
it?
had like 5 matches this season.
Charlie, I really hope your wife is blonde. I really hope she's blonde. This is getting weird. So
I'm taking.
Excuse me. I didn't mean to laugh that hard. That came out of nowhere.
She's a little taller than the other 2. All right.
okay.
She's a different type.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, if it makes you feel any better, I did kind of want to put India Hartwell on this list,
Okay, there you go. Any Hartwell, that's fair.
but I couldn't because I couldn't get her. Well, because I couldn't get her past Mariah May, and I couldn't get her past. But I'm taking Mariah May out. Charlotte goes on the list
That's fair.
because she is one of the top 5. And then number 5 to close out my list is Rhea Ripley.
There it is.
She, all right, look, I respect her. She's the champ. If she's wrestling, I want to watch. I want to know what happens. She puts butts in the seats. She's good. She's like to what you said. She's powerful. She actually reminds me a lot of China, and
Right.
and I think that's kind of where a little bit of my disdain comes from for her as well, because I it's like, oh, this is like the new age China. Like, so it's just like that part just doesn't do it for me. The kind of, I've never been a fan of that character necessarily with that particular attitude and all that bossy, like chick, it's just,
I think we all
Doesn't do
agree
it
on
for me.
Rhea. Can I ask you both this before I get into my list, just while Charlie explains his point? You know when Rhea stood out to me was when she was in the Mae Young Classic and watching the matches. I'm like, this girl's got something.
yeah, she's good.
And then she came back. She went to NXT UK, kept crushing it. Didn't see it, but when she didn't have this stupid dark layer gimmick,
Right.
she shined more. Her wrestling showed more, and I feel like she's gone more gimmick than the wrestler. I think we all came to say this girl's got superstar potential, and she's a superstar. Don't get me wrong. Just I liked it when she didn't have the dark gimmick and she was more focused on the wrestling back then. Just my own opinion. So, Charlie,
No, I
does
agree.
that, like what about for you? Like we've all seen Rhea's evolution in WWE. There you go. That song is annoying too.
I love it. I honestly love it.
Screeching nutness. So Charlie, what do you think? Did you prefer Rhea, and Ben, I'll ask this too, did you prefer Rhea back when she was more wrestling focused, or now where
Yes.
it's a little bit more character focused?
No, yeah,
It's
no.
fine.
To your point, like when she was more wrestling, because that's the thing. The reason that she's on my list is because she is very, very talented, and there is no denying that.
Agreed.
She's very good at what she does. But that's the thing. No, I don't like her character and how much of the boss she has become. And I'm not into it. Like that's the
Look.
thing. I want her to kind of just go out there and do her thing and show us on the mat.
Here's my thing. She is 27 years old, guys. Like she is where she has got a nice long run ahead of her. The
Agreed.
next decade is the Rhea decade in women's wrestling. That's going to happen, like it or not. And if you look at what 4 years ago, she needed the character development to sell the rest of the wrestling. And if we have to go through growing pains of her learning the character, I'm okay with that. I really am, because the wrestling is still there. She's still able to do it. when I mean, if you're wrestling Nia Jax, I'm sorry, no one's going to have a good wrestling match in that match. It's going to look clumsy. It's going to look bad. And she still managed okay. But give me Charlotte Flair and Rhea every Mania, and I'm happy. I love watching those two wrestle.
Because Charlotte will draw the wrestling out of her.
Yeah.
But that's the point, though. It's for both of them. Because Rhea's going to make Charlotte dig deep, and you believe it. They're two athletic women who are both strong, who both can hit those moves, and you believe Rhea's hurting people. Shayna hurt people. Rhea brutalizes them. And there's a difference there.
Yeah, look, if Rhea's character wants to continue to evolve, like you can have a dark character all you want, not realistically for me, just the way some of these darker characters have come out recently.
Right.
But there is room to grow if she's going to continue to do this, because right now, I can't stand the character. I can't stand the Judgment Day as a whole. I think they're kind of lost.
I hate 'em.
I think it's just it's annoying, and it's just that in general. But she has got an amazing longevity career ahead of her wrestling wise. She's an outstanding wrestler. I want to see more of that. You can kind of tell by my list, which is still the correct list for the men. I'm more of the wrestling style,
Right.
but we like Ospreay has a great mix of wrestling and character. Omega, wrestling and character. Danielson, more wrestling than character. Okada's got a perfect blend of both. Rollins has got more character than wrestling. Like, you can tell these top five have more right along that middle, that you love, you're drawn in for the wrestling, and or you love to be drawn in for the character. I think Rhea still needs to adjust to that, bring the levels back to even and find that nice middle ground, and she'll be a megastar 10 plus years going forward. So I want to make sure we're being cognizant of time here. I'm going to go over my 5 here real quick. Again, I've adjusted my list. My list is now as follows. Becky Lynch, 1. Charlotte Flair, 2. I've taken Io was 2. I've taken Io off the list completely. Nice. Rhea 3. Toni Storm, 4. Bianca Belair, 5. It is very tough to deny how much Bianca Belair has anchored WWE's women's division over the last 4 years, especially given Charlotte coming in and out because of injury. Again, not her fault. Bianca has been one of the anchors of that women's division, and I'm so happy for her because NXT, she was not fun to watch, but that was one of the characters that they took, and she exploded in the main roster. Alexa Bliss did the same thing. Not the greatest in NXT, exploded a popularity in the main roster. They found something when they got to that next level. So that's my 5.
Guys,
Becky, Charlotte, Rhea, Toni Storm, and Bianca Belair.
If you're watching this, guys, tell us what you think. Put in the comments, please, who are your top 5 women and men currently. We'd love to have some more discussion with you. We've got to get off because we got another show come here in a little bit, and I got to the restroom. So, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thank you for the discussion. We're going to kick her out here for a second, pun intended, and get ready for another great show. So, thank you, gentlemen.
See you on the Dads of Bacon show at 9:30.